I enjoyed those venison steaks and mushrooms, and took a little break and rested. A real brief little shower went by, and I've taken my first spring walk of 2019 over to Hawks Pond. Seems pretty quiet out here. There is a broad-winged hawk in the distance going from treetop to treetop. Looking out on all this water, it's hard to believe that this is a beaver pond that I filmed last fall. It was bone dry. No place for a beaver to survive. And yet I come back this spring. They've been working here. They got mud pushed up because they've got the whole impoundment overflowing. All this good habitat out here. I was concerned because trumpeter swans always have a nest right across this bay, and there's a little white spot over there. There's one swimming around. I imagine the other one is on the nest with the eggs. But there's no other bird life out here at this time. But it's so much habitat that as I stop in later in the week, I know I'll be starting to see some sandpipers. I'll hear some rails. Maybe some more ducks will be around. Third evening at the cabin coming up, and have plans for a nice meal to top off the day. 12 ounces of lean ground venison. Some green beans to finish up. Got some pepper jack cheese. Pepper jack cheese to melt and put on top of that burger. And then it might frost tonight, so I went out and picked another crop of morel mushrooms. Not bad for a little dinner out in the woods, huh? Having kind of a late breakfast this morning. Took a walk this morning early before breakfast. And there was some ice in the beaver pond up there, so that probably knocked the insects back for a few more days anyway, keep them in check. But nice golden eggs here from neighbor, gave them to me for the trip. Kind of free range, farm raised. I had so many morel mushrooms left from, saved a bunch for this morning and put some shredded cheese, so made for a real nice scramble. Oh yeah, mushroom flavor really comes through. You never know what you're going to find at these old homesteads, and when I visit them again, sometimes things are exposed that I didn't see before. I was up at Jonas's for my morning walk, and a tree had tipped over and kind of uprooted some dirt, and I think this is part of an old harness of some kind, but thought it was kind of neat. Might make a nice doorbell, a dinner bell, but also I think if I hang it down low outside the cabin by the door, it can be a bear bell too. If a bear comes brushing by in the night, might wake me up. The goal for today is to finally find Sam's cabin. I tried about a year ago, but further research showed that I was a little bit off of my location. By an old 1940s air photo, I can see that it actually sits down in what I would call too swampy a ground for a homestead, but back in the 1920s and 30s it was a lot drier around here, so it was probably feasible. Gonna have a relaxing day. I packed a little bit of kindling and some brats, a little cherry pie, so we'll have a relaxing time and make about a 4-mile circuit. See if we can do a little bushwhacking and find a homestead I've never found before. I can never pass up Marty Marsh without a little stop to listen to the frogs and look for some of the bird life. In our search for Sam's cabin, I know that I'm within a half a mile and it's approximately down through there, but I'm going to use my GPS, and from what I saw on the 40s air photos, some of the newer infrared photos that show tree types, I'm going to pick out the spot with the GPS where I think it is, and I can mark that spot, and then there's a little tool I can use in the GPS called the Go To, and it'll direct me right to the pre-selected spot. And as an added bonus, I'm going to turn on tracking, which will leave a breadcrumb trail everywhere I walk, and that way if I have to crisscross several times, I can always be in new country as I search for any remnant of that old homestead. I've hiked a lot of nasty country like this. Found some high spots that would have made a nice homestead place, even though a little low. But I haven't been able to find the tin can or any trace at all of Sam's homestead. So I'm taking this trail back to the north. Well, it's a trail, it actually is. Sam probably traveled it many times. Fortunately, the frost is still in the ground under about 6 inches of water, so it's got a very hard bottom to it. Could be kind of nice if I stop for lunch. I think I'll put my Coke down there and get it nice and cold while I cook my brats. I think I'll stop here and make a seat out of some of them old logs and make a little raft out here in the wet where I'll roast my brats. Sizzling away, dropping some fat globules down there. I think they're just right. Get my drink out of that ice cold water.